Well, thank you for coming. I'm Rodrigo Baeza and I'm representing Selfpay.
Thank you for having me. I'm Ken Adams, the representative of Nike.
Sure. Here are some statistics so you can look at them while I talk to you about our app. How's Kansas treating you?
So far so good. It's been good so far.
How's the weather? Different from Chicago?
I mean, it's way crazier than I would have imagined, but yeah, it's different from Chicago for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. Would you like some coffee?
Sure, why not? Thank you.
No problem. Well, we're very excited that you guys are honored and just came to our meeting. When we founded Selfpay, we were excited to help big companies like you, Nike, just to reach their goal in sales. I know it can seem sometimes very difficult, but you know how technology is advancing and sales are very important during the year.
I mean, for sure, I was a little excited when I heard about this app. I mean, it shows great potential, and I think it could be beneficial for us as well. As of making lines during the holiday season, Christmas, Thanksgiving, it could really take off a lot of time, and it could be beneficial for us for sure.
Yes, like you mentioned, especially in the holidays, it can be tough sometimes just to be in line and long line just to pay for a shirt. Let's say like Nike. I've seen a lot of customers making a line just to buy sneakers, and it just takes hours and hours.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
Well, like I said, we have found that Selfpay will help your customers self-checkout in your stores, just an easy way. It offers just to save their time as well and reduce long lines. Not only will help your customers save up their time, but help reduce the chances of them just losing their utilities, such as like the credit cards and debit cards. Should I schedule a time for me to program Selfpay app to your system?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so far so good. It sounds great. Even though I'm not ready to take a decision as of right now, but for sure I would like to listen.
Yeah, what are you saying is you want to know what particular benefits my app has that makes it worth programming into your system? Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so earlier we found that many customers want to avoid long lines at checkouts just to reduce their time. They rather leave the store and maybe try later, hoping that there won't be a line anymore. But statistically, lines take hours and hours, so at the end of the day, they just don't buy at all. This shows Emilio, right? Is this worth your time?
Yeah, for sure. You're right. I mean, I've seen the numbers, and I've honestly seen it myself too. I've seen a group of people, families come into Nike, and they just step in and decide to leave all of a sudden. And I'm guessing it's because of a huge amount of people that are in the lines that they just don't feel like making that line, and they don't want to lose any time. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that is one big problem that we as Selfpay is trying to solve. We just want to just customers be able to just purchase at any time, at any moment. And well, that sounds good. Do you prefer meeting this weekend or after regular hours next week?
Neither. I still have to think about it.
Well, there must be something like inside your head that you're thinking that is stopping you from making this deal. Can I ask what is it?
Out of the top of my head, I don't think the customer might want to pay a fee using your app.
Sure, I understand that. But in addition to that, is there any other problem that is making you hesitate making this deal?
No, not really.
Well, if you see it in your second page, let's just suppose that you can convince yourself that Selfpay app can really bring you more customers to your store. Then would you want to go ahead and make the deal?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the fee. The fee that customers would pay using this app is a low amount of $1, and customers will think it's worth just paying it. This dollar will be charged every time they make a purchase in your store, and they will decide to pay the dollar to avoid long lines or just lose their credit cards or debit cards. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Sure. So let's talk about real numbers now. Now that you mentioned the fee, so hypothetically, how much orders do you make a year in your Nike store? Let's say in a big mall.
Around 800,000, I think.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's talk about numbers. 800K times one, that would be 800K. So I would make a profit of $800,000 for that store in your mall, and I'm willing to give you 1% of what I acquire from your store. So that would be $8,000 just in that store. Now just imagine that. Let's just have sell the app in more stores in the country. Now let's just imagine like how my app is gonna help you like around the United States of America with this number that I gave you. How it's gonna increase with putting our app in different stores around Nike. Just like how it's gonna be very beneficial to you with the 1% that I'm giving to you. It's gonna increase the customers and it's gonna increase just the profit that you're gonna make with my app.
Yeah, I understand. I see exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah, I have another question for you. What other countries does Nike really have like good sales?
As of right now, I think the largest country with the biggest sales is Singapore. But honestly, I've also seen small countries around the world like Panama, Costa Rica, and in Canada, especially Canada, since we have that collab with the famous rapper Drake. I'm pretty sure you've heard of him. And now he part owns the NBA champions, Toronto Raptors, which brings me to my next point, which is that we sponsor the NBA, and how we sponsor the NBA, we drop out rare sneakers, which people make a long line for. For example, Air Jordans.
Or LeBrons.
KDs. We have a whole list. And not only basketball, but we also have the big star in Cristiano Ronaldo with his Mercurials and in soccer. When I'm pretty sure you also heard of him. And in the USA, we have this big talent, and I'm sure you've known, Serena Williams, the tennis player, and how she brings us a lot of customers and a lot of money, a lot of gains in the Nike Foundation.
Yeah, for sure. All those super athletes that you mentioned, like Cristiano Ronaldo, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and the collab that you have with Drake are just big examples of Nike that only impacts not only their sales but impacts the customers. Like I've seen videos on Instagram or Snapchat that where there's a lot of customers trying to make long lines just to buy the new pair of Jordans. Like it's just crazy how the customers really desire those products of yours, and with self-pay, it will help the customers like just buy the products quicker. So do you feel the programming of self-pay would be better at night or over the weekend?
I would still have to think about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I feel like there's another problem that is stopping you from making this deal. Would you mind telling me what it is?
I mean, I still have my doubts in the great significance in change of our numbers and sales.
Yeah, for sure. In addition to that, though, is that the only problem that is stopping you from making the deal?
Also, as of right now, we don't have the money for all the programming in all our stores, since we have a lot of them.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said before, we can start in the United States. We can start with just slowly. First, we can try with the biggest stores that have the most impact in sales. Then we can later on start beginning with smaller malls and smaller stores that have not a big significance in sales. But later on, we can increase the numbers internationally with Canada, with Panama, Singapore, all those countries that you mentioned. We can start slow. I understand. I know it can just like be a big impact, but we can start slow.
I mean, yeah, we can start in the United States for sure and see how it goes in our numbers and in our gains. And if And yeah, adding everything up, I think we have a plan.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's go ahead, Amelia, and talk to your supervisor and see what he thinks about this idea. Maybe both of us can stop by your supervisor's office one day.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt.
Well, thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure to me. I'm really looking forward to see you soon in our future, and just with the self-pay and Nike, this collab will really gonna help you increasing sales and just increasing customers as well.
Looking forward for the future and see where this goes. Thank you.
Thank you.